They sound happy. Yeah. Good booking, good couch. Welcome all. Lovely to see you all. And of course, now, Matt LeBlanc, you've just wrapped the new season of Top Gear.
That was yesterday, that finished.
Because Friends is kind of everywhere. You must be recognised wherever you go as Joey.
Yeah, pretty much.
Was it Top Gear where you were somewhere really crazy remote?
Yeah, we were in Morocco, in the Atlas Mountains. And, I mean, people are living in caves. I mean, that's where they live. And there's this, we're shooting this one thing where I'm in this kind of dune buggy-like car, aerial nomad. And there's an extension cord coming out of this cave. And this guy comes out of the cave and he sees me. We're kind of stopped there. And he goes, "Hey, how you doing?" I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, if there's electricity, they're watching it. It was amazing, yeah.
That is amazing. Because, Maxine, you've had some weird, odd things said to you. What's the one, I think, was it a bar? Was it a guy?
Yeah, I was in a bar and this guy came up to me and said, "Oh, my God, you look like a Swede." And I went, "Yeah, people say I have a bit of a Scandinavian hue." He went, "No, no, you look like the vegetable." Like so then he was being really serious. The shape of my head was really freaking him out. Fair enough.
Was that a chat-up line?
No, I don't. Nobody chats me up, but no. I think it was just disturbing him. He actually came across the bar. I think he'd been looking at me for a bit, sort of perplexed. So at least it wasn't a turnip.
Yeah. Could have been worse. And now, Benedict Cumberbatch, there is a vocal warm-up that serious actors do that involves you. Isn't this true?
Yeah, I've heard. I mean, you know, my name does sound a bit like a fart in a bath at the best of times, so you can get your mouth around it. Not the fart in the bath, but the name. It's, oh, God, even that sounds dodgy. I'm on the Graham Norton show.
Yeah, no, really, yeah.
For what I say.
Careful.
Yeah, if you can say it without tripping over quickly, I suppose it is kind of a vocal warm-up, yeah.
Because they do, what is it, Benedict Cumberbatch?
Benedict Cumberbatch, Benedict Cumberbatch, Benedict... I think it's just that, isn't it?
No, isn't there a Benedict Cumberbatch, something about a luggage rack? Hang on,
Yeah,
I've got...
there is, and I've now forgotten it.
I've got Benedict Cumberbatch broke a delicate luggage rack.
That's it.
Have I just made that up? No, that's real.
Yeah, and Benedict Cumberbatch is a something lumberjack, or is a feminist lumberjack? Yes, Benedict Cumberbatch is a feminist lumberjack. I can't
See, that is hard.
It's my name.
Well, we've limbered up. Let's chat. Benedict Cumberbatch, you return as Doctor Strange in Avengers Infinity War. It's out next Thursday. Now, do you have any clue what happens in this film?
Yes, I do.
Can you tell us anything about it?
No, I can't.
OK, fair enough.
The shortest Norton interview.
Well, no, you're Doctor Strange, and you
Yes.
must be helping the world in some way.
In some way, that is correct, yes.
Yeah.
I'm sort of helping the world and worlds beyond it, potentially.
Ooh. They've branched out. They've knocked through.
Pick over that phone.
and all we know is that there's just shed loads of superheroes in this thing.
Yeah, no one really knows. I've heard everything from sort of 36 to 23 was the most frequently quoted number, but I don't even think the Russo brothers who directed it know quite how many there are in it. I'm sure they do, actually. They know everything. But...
Have you seen the whole film yet?
No, I really haven't.
OK. Well, let's watch a bit of it. Shall we watch a bit of it?
Yes, please. Yes. I'd love to see it.
This is you doing some talking with some other Avengers, and you're discussing what you're up against. It's really bad.
OK.
That thing of putting on, you know, the Doctor Strange outfit, is it like just putting on any costume, or is there a thing, I am a superhero?
There is definitely a moment. I remember very clearly when I first put on the whole thing, including the cloak, as is often miscalled the cape, but it's a cloak and it's really heavy. It's like a cloak. But when it first all went on with the hair and everything, and I sort of looked in the mirror, I just started laughing like a 12-year-old. And the costume designer, Alex, who's seen it all, just sort of folded her arms and went, "Yeah, seen that look before. You're having a superhero moment." I think I am, unabashedly giggling at the fact I can play a superhero.
But you wear the outfit, like, off-set, which seems a little tragic.
Let's contextualise that judgment, shall we go? I was filming in New York, and New York obviously is the home of the character, so some of it had to take place there, and we were on his street, we're on Bleecker Street. And just around the corner was a cafe, and it was in New York, as I think in a lot of America, the paparazzi can get in front of the camera. They go, "Hey, get out of my shot," to the DOP, who's moving the camera around. So it's extraordinary, and they were everywhere this day. There were more of them than there were crew. So this is getting a little ludicrous. They can't follow me into a cafe, surely? And I went, "No, they can't, but you're going to a cafe?" I went, "Yeah, it's a French word for a coffee house. I'm going to go around the corner." And I went into... Sorry, not all Americans are stupid. I didn't mean that. I knew I'd get a cheap laugh out of a heat-stroked crowd, so I'm very sorry.
I wasn't listening. So.
Touché. Oh, man. Fair enough. So I go to this cafe, and I'm fully regaled up. I don't really know if I could finish the anecdote. Keep going, must keep going. And I walked in, and it was very New York, that everyone sort of turned around, "What the?" And the coffees were sort of half between mouths and tables, and people stopped talking. And then I just sort of, can we get a table? I had blood and cuts on me in a costume. And the minute the waiter said, "Yeah, sure," everyone just went... Anyway, as I was saying, Joseph was going to show at Benedict this weekend. It was just very New York. Thinking back,
Doctor Strange, just in our coffee shop. But you say you're good at keeping plot secrets and things, but you were a bit loose-lipped about the plot for Star Trek.
To one person, yeah, who I thought deserved to know, and that was Stephen Hawking. We were into our third margarita, I think, and I decided to tell him, and he literally, apart from the agents who told me the news and the people who were employing me, were the only people that were supposed to know. So, yeah, I told him.
Wow. Did he tell anyone else?
Not as far as I'm aware.
Now, here's the thing. The late Professor Hawking's work into the nature of space and time travel inspires us here on the show a lot. And we often unearth new evidence of time travel on the show. Okay. For instance, we've outed Daniel Radcliffe as a time traveller. Actually, not once, but twice. We found Daniel again in another era. There he is. We also had Justin Timberlake. He showed up in Newcastle as a ruffian. And now we can exclusively reveal Benedict Cumberbatch is also a time traveller. Here he is in the 1920s. That is uncanny.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
You made someone very happy in the 1920s.
It's like looking in a mirror, Graham. Where did I get those bangs from? Look at that.
I know. We can, if you want, we can recreate the look if you want to. Yeah, okay. I've got... Can I say, I'm glad you said yes, because someone went to a lot of trouble to make this.
Yeah.
OK.
OK, well, to honour that, I must wear it.
OK, hang on.
Holy internet. Here we come.
Here we go. There we go. You do that bit yourself.
So I do that bit myself?
I don't want to hurt you. OK. So
right, ready?
If we do a...
Look at, where do I look?
Where do you look? Camera 5, there.
Yeah.
OK.
Yeah.
That's not bad! You're prettier. Nicely done. Oh, and very quickly, there's another project you want to mention.
There's a thing called Patrick Melrose, which I'm in and producing, and it's the extraordinary story of this man's life, really, from the age of 5 to his late 50s, based on the wonderful novels of Edwardson Auburn.
Oh, yeah.
And, it charts his life from his childhood through addiction and all sorts of class warfare, and it's quite a difficult thing to sell, just cold like that. I have to say I'm not doing a very good job of it.
How many hours? Is it like a series?
It's a series. It's a 5-part series. Each book gets its own hour, and they're the most extraordinary novels. I mean, really not blowing smoke. They are, I think, just sort of standards of 21st century literature. They're
and here it's going to be on Sky Atlantic later in the year.
Sky Atlantic and Showtime.
Patrick Melrose.
Patrick Melrose.
You've done it. You've sold it.
Well
done, that man. OK, let's move on to Maxine Peake's film tonight. She brings us Funny Cow. It's out tonight, and there's no question I can ask you where you say, yes, I'm brilliant in it. So I'll just tell you, you are brilliant in this film. You're so good in this film. It is is essentially the birth of a female comic in the 70s, is that right?
Set in Sheffield in the 70s, and it's sort of her progression? I can't... Anyway, you know what I mean?
Yeah, she gets better.
A journey through, you know, sort of starting on the working men's club circuit and working her way up to become sort of a... You never really see, but there's some element of success that she achieves. Happiness, maybe not, but success, yes.
Because one of the things I think people should... It is funny. It's got some very funny bits in it.
Yes.
But it's also got some darkness.
Yeah, it is very dark, but it is... Yeah, it has got humour in it. And obviously it's got some stand-up routines in it that are very dark and very of the period.
Yeah.
But it isn't a comedy.
Listen, we've got a clip. This is you, as Funny Cow, sort of seeking the advice of a kind of a comic who's an old hand. I mean, that kind of point, it is a proper period piece. It's it is the 70s. I mean,
it's very much so.
And also because the routines are 1970s routines.
Yeah, we've not sweetened it by any means. Yeah, we felt that it would be doing a disservice. You know, we'll never learn from our... You know, we'll never learn if we don't look back from, you know, our past. And it was an horrendous time, and the jokes were despicable, but you can't forget where we used to be as a society. And we wanted it to be authentic. It had to be authentic, so the jokes had to be authentic, and which made them very uncomfortable.
But I wanted to know, I mean, is it really hard filming scenes where you have a live audience and you're doing it again and again and again? That repetition, when you get a feedback from an audience as a comic, you think, OK, well, I've got them or I haven't. But to film that must be really weird.
But then what you've got to fall back on is an audience who've been paid to laugh at you. We had this amazing group of supporting artists who really entered into it. A lot of were friends and family of Tony the writer. I mean, it was really made on a shoestring. But, yeah, it was hard. It was hard. And because of the nature of the material as well, you know, I was, you know, the top lip was very sweaty. You know, like, yeah.
And do you have a favourite joke?
Have you farted?
No.
What, never? It's hilarious.
OK, that's the end of the joke. OK, yeah. Maxine Peake, everybody. Do you have a favourite joke?
Oh, just, you know, the usual sort of not-so-good dad jokes. I was in the supermarket the other day and I saw this guy throwing cheese around, and then he started throwing yoghurt around, and then butter, and then milk, and I thought, how dare he?
Oh, Matt's going, oh. Have you got one? Have you?
Yeah, I got one.
Yeah, go.
Yeah. OK. So there's... this guy's in church on Sunday, and there's a raffle. And he wins the raffle, and the first prize is a trip to the Vatican to meet the Pope. So he's all excited. So he packs his bags, off he goes to Italy, and he goes to the Vatican. And that day, there's about 50 people there to meet the Pope, and he's all dressed up in a suit, and he's so excited. So he's the last one. They line up 50 people, and he's at the end of the line. Out comes the Pope. Goes to the first guy, gives him a blessing. Second guy gives him a blessing. Now, the third guy is kind of wearing a long overcoat, and his hair's messy, and he's kind of dirty looking, kind of looks like a homeless guy. And the Pope looks at him and gives him a hug. Moves on to the next guy, gives him a blessing. Next guy. So our hero, down at the end of the line, thinks, I don't want just a blessing, I want a hug. So he gets out of line, he runs around behind the Pope, and he says to the homeless guy, hey, buddy, I'll give you $1,000 for the jacket. The guy goes, sure. He takes off the coat, gives it to him, puts it on, messes up his hair, runs over, gets at the end of the line. Pope gets to him, gives him a hug, and as he's hugging him, he says, I thought I told you to get the fuck out of here.
Good joke!
And straight to hell. Thank you.
Now, talking of funny, Matt LeBlanc is back for the 5th and final season of episodes. It's currently on BBC Two, Fridays at 10. So, for anyone who's been under a rock, episodes, this is the show where you play Matt LeBlanc.
Right, yeah. First of all, Graham has been such a super supporter of the show. You've been great.
I really like it. I love
this
show.
Super supportive. Yeah, it's a show about making a show in Hollywood and all the crazy personalities you run into, the nutty executives and the crazy actors and the goofy crew people, and
I've seen it.
I
But,
play,
I mean, but yeah.
and
I think
so.
we've all...
Oh, look at all those people.
Yeah, we've all...
So I play this weird, larger-than-life version of myself. It's actually right on the money, no. And in the 5th season, I get into all kinds of trouble. I'm hosting this game show, and I get fired for this event that takes place that's really awful, and then the ratings go through the roof, and then they want to have me back on the show, but I have a condition, and I want to have Stephen Mangan and Tamsin Gregg's character, who are the other co-leads with me in the show, write me a new show and develop a show. So that, because the show is, we think at its best when it's those 3 characters together, and they're on a different show writing, and I'm on this show hosting, so it's all about getting them back together. So we end up developing a show, and then it's what happens from there. I don't want to ruin it, because it's airing right now on BBC.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what, the clip segues into that very well, because this is the 3 of you trying to work on an idea for your new show.
Oh, right, okay. Good, clean family fun, right?
The episodes, they film a lot of it here. Top Gear filmed here. Are you sort of living here now? I'm not telling anyone, don't worry. I mean, I'm not...
That's the tax issue. So, half and half, yeah.
Do you like it here?
I do.
You must.
Yeah.
Not you have to, but like, you spend a lot of time here.
Yeah, so you kind of have to like it, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm optimistic. I do. I enjoy it here.
No, I'm optimistic. It might get better. Yeah.
That's funny. I've always said it's like being in Europe, but you can understand the language. It's good, yeah.
You've not been to Manchester, then?
I have a flat here. My girlfriend and I have a flat here, and then but my home, I guess, is in L.A.
Oh, okay. Now, so the Taylor Swift thing, you were there with your daughter.
Yeah. That was so my daughter's a big Taylor Swift fan, and she was playing in LA, so I thought, oh, this would be great. So I called my agent, see if I could get like some great tickets, maybe even like a meet and greet backstage so my daughter could meet her. And they said, well, we'll look into it and see. And they go, yeah, absolutely. So we go to the show, and we're backstage, and she's all excited, and Chris Rock is there with his 2 daughters, and they're big Taylor Swift fans as well. So in comes Taylor Swift in the green room, and she meets the girls, and the girls are all excited, and Chris Rock and I are standing there like great dads we are. And then Taylor says, hey, I'm doing this thing. Would you 2 guys come on stage with me for this thing we're doing? And we were like, what? Huh? What are you talking about? Next thing you know, me and Chris Rock, you know, on the stage at a concert, they have the elevator that pops you up, and all of a sudden, there you are. All of a sudden, there's me and Chris. And we're dancing like 2 old fools at a Taylor Swift concert. And to this day, my daughter says I'm the worst dancer ever. I'll never get out of it. Oh, it was pretty, it was fun. So thanks, Taylor. And thanks a lot, Taylor.
No, and although it sounds embarrassing, of course, these things, people have phones.
Yeah.
So there is evidence of this.
There's evidence.
So
it's not pretty. Not pretty.
What I'll say, and you commit.
Well, you got to go big or go home, right?
You commit. This is Matt LeBlanc and Chris Rock performing with Taylor Swift.
Oh, God, the hot shame.
Oh.
Yeah. Because we were thinking about, saying no, and we were like, well, I don't know, I didn't shave, I don't know. And we look at the kids, and all 3 girls are like this. So there was no getting out of it.
Very good. Right, it's time to meet our next guest. Now, one is the co-host of Strictly Come Dancing, and the other is quite simply cooking royalty. Together, they're causing a stir in the kitchen with Britain's best home cook. It's Claudia Winkleman and Mary Berry. Hello, so good to see you. Hello, darling. Come in and sit down. Where's everybody? Did you meet everyone beforehand? bit of waving. Very good. Lovely. Oh, I feel like an air hostess. There you go. Welcome aboard. Welcome. Now, host and head judge, I'm guessing, of Britain's Best Home Cook. Now, it starts on BBC One, 3rd of May at 8 p.m. So, what can you tell us about it? How are you finding the Best Home Cook? How many cooks are in it? Things like that.
Good. This is all good. Do you remember?
I do remember.
Go.
I know that we start off with 10. We start off with 10, and remember, they're home cooks. They have no qualifications. They've never been chefs.
How did you find them?
They were found by a team.
So
of
they're
experts.
self-selecting? Did they go, I'd like to do it?
No, it was always their friends, their families, and they are the most adorable cooks. I'm not just saying that. They're so sweet. So it was always, I think they were nominated by friends and family, and they just continuously pleased their friends and family every Sunday lunch, basically. And at night.
And it's real cooking, you know, there's not any jus about and no piles and stacks of things. It's good family cooking, wonderful roasts, and also they, in one of the challenges, they have their family recipes that have been handed down and their specialities. There are 3 challenges.
Yeah.
My favourite one is the elimination one at the end.
Oh.
And
Home time!
Yes, you love it.
Because they're given a tray with ingredients on for a particular recipe. They're given the recipe in great detail, so they're all competing against each other to get a perfect result. And if they make a muck of it and they look in the cupboard for anything, there are no more ingredients. Just like at home. You've only got a limited amount.
Yes, and then Deliveroo.
Yeah.
We've got a clip. This is the 2 of you, the ultimate challenge where they're making the best burger they know how. Here we go. Now, I look at the rest of the couch. Benedict Cumberbatch. You are good at everything. Are you like a cordon bleu chef? Are you,
no.
Have you trained in Paris?
No, definitely.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
Yeah, you know.
Imagine you'd go around just making a frisée of something. Is it a frisée?
I think he'd get away with anything.
Oh. My heart is melted. And slightly souffled and then risen. No.
Okay.
No, I'm not a great cook. I like cooking though. I do enjoy it, and I'm all right with the ingredients. I'm just not very good with the appliances. I seem to sort of either injure myself or destroy half of my kitchen.
What did you do injuring yourself?
Well, the latest one was on my ring finger. It's actually grown back now, but I was making a cocktail, so I'm not technically.
You call that cooking? That is cooking.
Well, you know, I go to.
I enjoy cooking, apparently. I didn't know until right now.
Yeah, true. I was just in the kitchen for this anecdote rather than actually making food. But it was an old-fashioned. I was getting the orange peel ready and this very sharp potato peeler. And I had peeled some potatoes before peeling said orange. It just went skidding over the orange onto my nail. I couldn't figure out where the blood was coming from. So I kept washing it under the tap going, I still don't understand where the... Oh, it's coming from under my nail because my nail has been taken. Yeah, so that was nice.
That's horrible.
Sorry.
Maxine, do you cook to impress? Can you...?
No, if it doesn't go in a toaster, then... I can't be bothered.
But, like, what... If you're at home alone, you just eat toast?
What, crumpets? With various toppings.
Yeah, you're not an animal.
No, and I can do a main course with, like, a savoury topping and then a sweet, you know, sweet topping for me pudding afters.
Yes. Next series, she's in. But Matt LeBlanc, on Friends, Joey obviously ate a lot.
Everything.
Yeah. But what was the worst thing you had to eat on Friends? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the trifle thing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
There's a really funny story with that. So, when we were shooting that scene...
This is the meat trifle.
Rachel, there's 2 pages of the cookbook get stuck together. There's a meat dish and a dessert dish, and she makes half and half of each and mixes it together. So it's like a meat trifle with whipped cream.
Oh, no.
Really nasty. But what we were actually eating was not that. It was, story-wise, it was just like whipped cream and some bananas or something. So Ross is saying he doesn't like it, and Rachel hears him, and it hurts her feelings, but he doesn't want to hurt her feelings, so he eats the whole thing. He says, no, 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 it's delicious, and eats it all. But there was too much on his plate. So he starts to eat it all, and he can't finish it, and he starts laughing. So we cut. And as we're cutting, he kind of spits it back on his plate, like that. And I'm sitting right next to him, and I'm looking the other way. I didn't see him spit it back on the plate. Right? So I take his plate, I go, give it to me, and I scrape some on my plate. I go, here, let's go again. And we go again, and now I'm eating it. And we finish the take. No one says anything. Cut to the rap party, and we're watching the blooper reel. And I'm watching, I'm going, oh, I remember this was funny. I go find him at the party, I go, oh, nobody ever told me that.
And very quickly, talking about food, Mary Berry, I've interviewed you here a few times and on the radio a few times, and I felt like I knew you pretty well. But I hear that Claudia Winkleman, over the course of this series, discovered a dark secret from the Berry history.
So we had a lot of time to chat.
Yeah. We're together, we were stuck together, mainly because I also followed Mary home, which is weird on occasion. But this is what I love most about Mary, is we all feel like we know Mary, we know she's amazing. And it was week 2, they were making a moussaka. Takes time. Mary and I sitting there in the green room, snuggled under a blanket.
Because it was cold, wasn't
Always
it? And
cold.
the boys didn't like it.
No. And we're sitting there, and Mary turns to me and went, here, did I tell you about when I was arrested? To which, I swear to God, I just drop what I'm on. I don't just go, what? And... well, it was about 25 years ago.
25 years ago, I was asked to go to America to do cookery demonstrations.
Yes.
And I'm very particular at getting everything right. And I also try to look ahead. So I thought I ought to have my recipes, all the ingredients weighed out in case the plane is late or in case the connections aren't right.
You understand
I could go
what's coming.
straight on stage to do my presentation, cookery demonstration.
Yeah.
And so I weighed out each recipe in little bags, and I had the flour and the sugar and everything grouped together so that I could lift it out for the first recipe and so on.
Cut 2. It was the sniffer dogs. This was my favourite bit.
And when we arrived, there were dogs, and I love dogs, and I was, just ready to go and say... And they all, 3 of them came up with their noses sort of like this, and they were, I thought, oh, come along. But they didn't want to know me. They just began, and then suddenly the airport became empty, and there were just uniformed people. And I was with Lucy Young, my assistant. They parted us, Lucy there, me there, into 2 cells.
Mary Berry in a cell with a selection of packets containing white powder.
And, you see, I didn't know whether their all-purpose flour was, the same as our flour. That's why I've taken it.
Yes.
This is why I love her.
Yes.
Because this is why Mary's amazing, because she wanted to make the greatest cakes possible, so had it already. And is it true? This is my fate. I was just incredulous. They were like, we need you back on set. I was like, somebody else is going to have to do it. You need... And didn't he turn to you and say, ma'am, are you expecting to make some money from these white packets? And you said...
Oh, I do, and my fee has already been agreed. And that's quite true.
Very good. Right, it is time for our musical guest tonight. One is a... I think the fans are in. One is a Grammy Award-winning British DJ who sold 70 million albums worldwide. The other is pop's latest princess, with 2 Brit Awards to her name. Here performing their new collaboration, One Kiss, it is Calvin Harris and Dua Lipa. It's a performance, I think, for us, so thank you very much for doing that.
Yeah.
Yes. That is the single, One Kiss, which is out. That's... singles are getting bigger, aren't they, Mary? Yeah, I don't know what I mean. But more exciting in all that, we have this for you because that song is the official #1 single in the day. There you go. That's for you. There you go.
Oh, thank you. Well, I was a boat holder.
Yes.
Wow, that's so cool.
I know.
That's so cool. I'm so happy.
I know.
So happy.
I think is that a new thing they give those out. I haven't seen them before, but it's new. But it's nice because it's a big deal to be #1. It's
Beautiful.
That is lovely.
It's a lovely finish, isn't it?
You can timeshare that. It'll be nice.
We'll take turns.
Yeah, take turns. Lovely. And in terms of this in terms of this track, One Kiss, how did this happen? Who spoke to who?
I chased you, didn't I? I DM'd her on Twitter.
Yeah. Slid
said
into the
I've got a
DMs.
I can only apologise, Mary. I didn't know it was going to take this mucky tone.
I mean, I emailed her on Twitter. That's all.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But,
It's a great form of contact, honestly.
The best kind.
Lots of stuff happens on Twitter.
OK, that's good.
People make friends on Twitter.
But did you have mutual friends or anything, or you just heard her voice and kind of thought, I want that voice on one of my tracks?
We sort of bumped into each other about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Somewhere, but it was a very brief thing.
All right.
What do you mean? Where? It makes it sound really bad. It was like at a party, and we just said hi to each other, and that was...
Whose party?
Sorry.
Oh, you're good at this, Claudia.
Because you know there's more to this.
Well, they followed each other on Twitter afterwards, that's all I know.
No, but I mean... Yeah, OK, sorry.
And Dua Lipa, you also have your own album out, which is here.
I do.
Yes. And this is your first album.
It is my first album.
But it couldn't have done better. It's extraordinary.
Thank you so much. It's been just so exciting, and the response has been amazing, and I'm so grateful, and I have the best fans, honestly. They've changed my life, so I'm really, really thankful.
And are you going to rock up at some of these shows to do...
No, I mainly just sit in my house. That's kind of what I do.
Oh, this is lovely.
I make music, I'd sit in my house. This is a nice little...
Yeah.
I mean, so...
You've had a wash, you've ironed your shirt. Yeah.
Here we are.
Well done, you.
Thank
thank you very much for leaving your house and doing that. It was sensational. Thank you very much. Calvin Harris and Dua Lipa. Right, that's nearly it. Before we go, just time for a visit to the big red chair. Who's there? Hello.
Hi, I'm Kim.
Hello, Kim. Where are you from?
I'm originally from New York, but now I live in London.
How long have you been here, Kim?
5 years, and it's been a dream come true.
OK. Wow. See, Matt, it's a dream come true to be here.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Yeah, she's my neighbour.
OK, Kim, off you go with your story.
So I was headed to the clinic for my first lady doctor visit. Disrobe here, gown on, opening in the front, sit on the table, wait for the doctor to come in. Right, fine, done. The doctor walks in, and she begins her exam. She opens up my gown, and she says, "My God, I've never seen anything like those. The color, the shape, they're absolutely luminescent." The color is now draining out of my face, and I'm about to faint from sheer embarrassment when it suddenly dawns on me that when I had disrobed, I had neglected to remove the strand of pearls that I had been wearing. And she was not actually talking about what I thought she was talking about, but she was talking about my necklace.
Yeah. I'm with you. I hope it was so much more.
There we are.
What?
Had the pearls gone down to a nunu?
Well, I think it was clearly a very long necklace.
Yeah.
Can I just say that I need a
Crumpets
drink?
and noodles.
But no, you can have it.
You have it, man.
OK.
Down in one. No. OK, quick. Let's have another one. Here we go. Hello.
Hi, Graham. How's it going?
Very well, thank you very much. Who are you?
My name's Paul.
Paul. And what do you do, Paul?
I work in client services.
OK.
What does that mean?
What's that?
OK, and where are you from?
South East London.
South East London, keeping it vague. All right, off you go with your story.
So I was in a meeting one day. It was a very long meeting. Drank a lot of water during that meeting. And when it finished, absolutely desperate for the toilet. So ran upstairs into our work toilets. There's no urinals, just 3 kind of cubicles, 2 of them being used and 1 completely empty. So I went into the cubicle, and it was immediately obvious as to why that one had been left empty. It was someone had had.
Oh yes, yes, all right, yes, thank you. Mary Berry's on the couch.
It's not getting better. So I went about my business. Kind of ignored what was around, walked out, and there's a like toilet cleaner, a toilet attendant guy in there. He's walked in, and he's got his cart, and I'm washing my hands, and he goes into the cubicle and like comes out and kind of looks at me and goes, "You are disgusting." And I'm like, "It's nothing to do with me. It's not. It wasn't me." And he picks up a toilet brush and slams it into my hand, pushes me into the toilet, and then pushes his car in front of the door, puts the brake on, and says, "You clean it, not me." And he stands there until, and I'm quite young and quite scared, not now, but then he kind of. Yeah, it stands there and makes me do it. And then when I have finally cleaned someone else's, like, stuff...
Yes, yes, we understand.
He looks at me dead in the eye and just says, "And never come back." That's the story.
That's a good story. Yeah. Well done, everyone. If you'd like to join us on the show and have a go on the red chair, you can contact us via our website at this very address. That is it for tonight. Please say thank you to all of my guests. Calvin Harris and Dua Lipa. Matt LeBlanc. Maxine Peake. Benedict Cumberbatch. Claudia Winkleman and Mary May. Join me next week when my guests will include Eurovision hopeful Suri, comedy genius Stephen Merchant, and Hollywood heartthrob Orlando Bloom. I'll see you then. Good night, everybody. Bye.